KTSM 9 News after the game starts right now.
Well, Joe Burrow returning tonight for the first time since week 2, just in time for the classic showdown between Cincinnati and Baltimore. The Bengals defeating the Ravens 32-14. Thanks for keeping with us after the game, and also happy Thanksgiving. I'm Kelly Harrison alongside Christina Rada, as well as Tirza Ortiz. And well, I didn't see this one going down the way it did. We're going to get to picks in just a minute, but let me just explain my rationale here. Bengals have been struggling without Burrow. Yes, he's a phenomenal player, but I didn't think a single man could come in here and turn them around in terms of morale. We saw them struggle and just be really, really down on themselves, and he came in and he flipped the script, so I was wrong. We usually do picks with Andy, Sam, as well as Robert, but of course I have two guests with me here today, and they actually picked correctly. They picked Bengals, so I'm going to ask them why. Christina, I'm going to start with you.
A little birdie told me that this would be an upset.
Okay. All right. Tirza?
Okay. No, I like that Christina's not revealing her sources.
Yep.
Just had a good feeling with Burrow back on the field. It felt like a natural pick.
All right. Well, I'm going to say the team was split right down the middle this week, 3-3. Two of which are standing right here in the room with me. And then Robert also picking the Bengals as well. Like I said, I went Ravens, and Sam and Andy went alongside me. And it's still going to be Andy in the league, 9-4-1. I'm trailing right behind, 8-5. So hopefully, maybe this coming Sunday, I can kind of square up with him once again. But this was just one game going on today. Elsewhere on Thanksgiving, Kansas City and Dallas in a shootout at AT&T Stadium. Both teams needing a win to keep its playoff hopes alive, especially for the Cowboys aiming for that above 500 record for the first time this season, needing that win against the Chiefs. A win would also string together 3 straight victories for the Cowboys. Kansas City is going to strike first. A short pass to Rashee Rice tiptoes up the sideline, and Chiefs are going to go up 7-0. But Dallas is going to answer back later in the first. Dak Prescott to CD Lamb. That's going to tie this game 7-7 with the score 6:50 in quarter number 1. First quarter nearing an end now, 3 seconds. Kansas City back on top. Travis Kelce is going to flash his hands, and it's enough to reel this one in. Chiefs up 14-7. Second quarter, Dallas is going to close at 14-10. 3:15 before break. Malik Davis receives the hands-off, and he's going to find the hole, and he is gone. Cowboys back in front, 17-14, and a quiet third quarter. Picking things up here in the fourth, Kansas City on the 3. Mahomes in trouble. Rice again, his second receiving touchdown of the day. Chiefs back in front by 1, 21-20. Now it's Dallas's turn from the 3. Prescott is going to flip it to Javonte Williams on the last second. This grab is good, and Dallas is going to go up 26-21. It's 2-point conversion. George Pickens, unreal grab here, and it's going to make this score 28-21 Dallas. Now 3:30 to go in this game. Boys extends its lead 31-21. Mahomes is going to shoot this to the back of the end zone, and it's caught by Hollywood Brown. This was a down to the last second game. Cowboys are going to hang on to defeat the Chiefs today in unbelievable fashion, 31-28. And taking a look to other scores happening today, a surprising one here, the Packers with the win over the Lions, 31-24. Again, the Bengals over the Ravens, as we saw right here on KTSM, 32-14. And looking ahead to tomorrow in a Friday night matchup, NFL featuring the Bears against the Eagles. Both of these teams are 8-3. Should make for a good one. Kickoff is set for 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. That's going to be do it for me here at Sports. Christina, the floor is all yours.
All right, Kelly, thank you so much. Well, as Thanksgiving Day comes to an end, we want to get a look outside through our card cam at a cool El Paso night, one that we definitely enjoyed with some turkey and stuffing and bunch of other things to eat for Thanksgiving. Now we are 1 weekend away now from the start of December. Yes, we're talking about December. What will our last week look like weather-wise? Forecaster Tirza Ortiz joining us now. Tirza, this weather, this whole month has truly surprised me. I didn't know what to expect.
You know, Christina, I think a lot of people are probably with you, but we have been tracking above average temperatures. So the only thing that has really remained consistent is how unusually warm we have really been for our fall, but we are cooling down. We've had a couple of cold fronts to bring us down to average before we do a little rebound back up. Currently, though, out the door right now, 55 degrees in El Paso, 55 over in Juarez. We're looking at 47 degrees over in Las Cruces and 41 degrees over in Alamogordo, and we are only going to get cooler for tonight going into tomorrow morning, and we still have warm days ahead of us all the way through Saturday. We are tracking 70s for our Friday and for our Saturday, and then we drop down to those low 60s because we have yet another cold front coming into our region, and that system is going to bring, number one, the cooler temperatures that are more average and really perfect for this time of year, but we also have the chance for precipitation. But as for the next 3 days, we do have the green light when it comes to washing your car, like I mentioned, above average all the way through Saturday, and then that cold front. And even though we will have cooler temperatures, you should still be okay if you want to go ahead and just refresh your vehicle to get ready for the new month. I will have more details though in our full 9-day forecast of what you can expect, but I will send it back to you, Christina.
Cheers, a great idea. Thank you so much. Well, in case you missed the fun, thousands of El Pasoans converged in central El Paso this morning for the longest running Thanksgiving tradition, the annual Sun Bowl Parade, this year marking the 89th edition. KTSM 9 News reporter Jesus Baltazar was at the parade this morning capturing sights and sounds as El Pasoans began their day of festivities.
The 89th Sun Bowl Thanksgiving Parade drawing hundreds of El Paso families Thursday morning.
We run this tradition every year with family, friends, and co-workers, and just, it's a great time to come out here. We bring a DJ out for the community.
It started with my dad. My dad would come often, or mostly each year to the parade. He passed away in 2019. So we're trying to keep the tradition going. We try to go all out for Thanksgiving.
Some people arriving on Montana in the early hours of Thursday morning, some even camping out a few days before, but they all had something different on the menu.
So we're cooking some chocolate abuelita, huevo with chorizo, and we're making burritos with homemade tortillas. We're already thinking that next year we're gonna bring more stuff to make, I guess, more food.
Today we're going to be making chile, tomate, and cebolla with bacon on pan blanco. It's like sandwiches. The tradition is more breakfast, just hanging out, you know, with the kids.
This year's theme, childhood is where dreams are born.
And it just takes people back to when they were young kids and seeing what they wanted to be when they grew up. And this is what this theme is all about. And some of these floats are going to show that.
Some people sharing that after the parade will come the Thanksgiving feast and football.
And I'm on board 100%. They're going to the Super Bowl, baby.
And at the end of the day, El Pasoans reflecting on what Thanksgiving is all about.
Be with loved ones and just to really enjoy, be thankful for the loved ones that you have. Never take that for granted, right?
Jesus Baltazar, KTSM 9 News.
That looks like so much fun. Very amazing. Now coming up, the partnership between Scouting America and the Pentagon may soon come to an end. Why officials say it's no longer connecting to its roots and how they say that's impacting the program. Thanks for watching KTSM 9 News at 10, putting local first.
Well, good evening, Borderland, and happy Thanksgiving. I hope you really enjoyed your day, had lots of good food, and you were able to take in the warmer temperatures and really just get the most of your Thursday. We saw a high of 69 degrees for today. It was well above average. Now, I forecasted 68 degrees, so not too far off, just a little bit on the warmer end, but we are looking at warmer days ahead of us. Before we get there, though, let's talk about tonight. 55 degrees in El Paso right now. We're looking at very light winds at 6 miles per hour. That humidity is currently at 38%, and it looks like we have a good amount of overcast. Over in Las Cruces, 48 degrees. Those winds aren't currently picking up on the tracker, but we do know that they are going to be very calm and very light for tonight. So as you're going later into the overnight hours, just anticipate some very calm and very light winds. Over for our lows, 37 degrees in Ruidoso, 35 over in Cloudcroft, Alamogordo in those upper 30s. TRC as well. We're looking like the mid 30s for Silver City and Deming, but pretty beautiful conditions across the board, just a little bit on the chillier end. For tomorrow, I did say we are tracking warmer weather. 70 degrees is going to be that high. We will be pretty sunny for the most part. A couple of high clouds here and there as we move through the afternoon. Very warm though. Those light winds will continue to blow from the southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Over in Las Cruces for your Friday, 68 degrees is that forecasted high. We're also looking at some clouds throughout the day, but it will relatively be quiet and calm just to end our work week and kickstart the weekend, which is always a good thing. Now for the rest of the region, 59 degrees over in Ruidoso is that high, 53 degrees over in Cloudcroft. We're looking at Alamogordo in those low 60s, 68 degrees for TRC, upper 60s for Deming, lower 60s Silver City, and again 68 degrees for our Las Cruces area with El Paso and Juarez in those low 70s. For our allergens, we're tracking low for Friday. We're looking at a 5, but then we barely jump up to a 7. For our weekend, we are looking at 7s for our Saturday and our Sunday. And then taking a look at the 9 hours once you get your morning started come 8 a.m. We're at 49 degrees. By the time we reach our 10 a.m. hour, we're still looking at a good amount of cloud cover, 57 degrees with those partly cloudy skies. Those skies are going to remain overcast as we continue to move throughout the rest of our early afternoon hours. By 1 p.m. we're down to 68 degrees, and then we're looking at 70, which is going to be our forecasted high for our 4 p.m. hour, and we are looking at those clouds beginning to clear. Now, as for the rest of our 9 days, we're looking pretty good other than that gradual warm up that we have coming into the weekend. We do have a cold front coming in on Sunday. It is going to bring those cooler temperatures and a little bit breezier conditions. We drop down to those low 60s for our Monday to kick off the new month, 60 degrees come Tuesday, and then we see another gradual warming back up to average temperatures before we go above average for next weekend for our Friday and Saturday, where we will once again be in those upper 60s. But don't go anywhere. We have more news coming up. You're watching KTSM 9 News after the game.
Welcome back. Well, the Pentagon may end more than a century of tradition by cutting ties with Scouting America, formerly the Boy Scouts. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth reportedly says that the group is attacking boy-friendly spaces and being genderless. News Nation's Xavier Walton has all the details.
The Pentagon is considering severing parts of its century-long relationship with Scouting America, reportedly ending on-base meetings and pulling military medical teams from the National Jamboree. Now, if implemented, this would really mark a sharp break from decades-long tradition. Pentagon officials say nothing is final here, but they also aren't denying the leaked memo outlining the proposal. Scouting America is pushing back, pointing to a decades of military support at scout events and the long history of scouts who later eventually served in the U.S. Armed Forces. The group telling News Nation in Port it has not received any communications about a policy change, that its American values have not changed, and that it remains a nonpartisan organization.
This is a leaked memo. It's not, it's not official policy, and Congress really has oversight here. So to my mind, this might be us making a mountain out of a molehill, that there is more bluster and bravado that's happening than actual policymaking, or that the Trump administration will likely sever ties with the Boy Scouts might not be accurate.
And Dr. Brown might be onto something there. To be clear, Scouting America has always been nonpartisan, has worked with every administration that's both Democrat and Republican. As for how this could impact military recruiting moving forward, I mean, scouting is really just a small piece of the big puzzle that is military recruiting. Defense data shows recently active duty enlistment improving since 2022, with most branches now hitting their goals thanks to pay raises and new prep programs. Experts say the biggest barriers, you see it here, are health eligibility, family choices, and quality of life, not whether youth groups meet on base. And what is really at stake here is the message this sends, whether culture war pressure is starting to trump long-standing partnerships that help shape future leaders of America. Right now, Scouting America, military families, and lawmakers all waiting to see if the Pentagon formally adopts or even scales back or drops this proposal altogether. But obviously it is very close to the Thanksgiving holiday, so that news and that information is going to come out later on. In Dallas, Xavier Walton, News Nation.
All right, and coming up, giving parents more time to grieve after losing a child. We look at the new way lawmakers are hoping to help them during such a difficult time. We'll be back in a few minutes. It's an unimaginable loss, the death of a baby. That's why grieving parents helped pass a new Texas law requiring hospitals with maternity wards to have cooling devices, something that could give families up to 3 days together after a baby passes. Arzo Deuce explains how the state health department is working to implement the new requirement. Now, for people who've lost a child, this story could be emotionally triggering.
This was the onesie that we obviously bought.
Elaine Wynn remembers the quiet room.
This was the swaddle.
And the moment she had to say hello and goodbye all at once.
This is what you leave the hospital with when you lose your baby.
Lando Wynn was stillborn at 35 weeks in April 2024.
Everything that I imagined doing with my son, it kind of flashed before me, and I just didn't know how I could pour that love into him in that moment. Like, if I only have this couple hours with you, how do I let you know how much you mean to me?
Elaine needed more time. She says she found out later the hospital was equipped with cooling technology, which would have slowed down the natural changes to her baby's body.
It wasn't offered to me, and I don't know if it was a lack of it not being known to nurses that it was available, or if it wasn't trained properly.
Chair lays out House Bill 37.
The state is now making sure no other families are put in that position after a stillbirth or infant loss.
Here in Texas alone, approximately 2,000 babies are stillborn annually.
Representative Mahela Plisa from North Texas is behind a new law passed requiring hospitals with maternity wards to have cooling devices available to preserve a baby for up to 72 hours. The law also says training must be provided for staff on how to care for grieving families.
We want to make sure that those experiences are treated with respect, with the compassion that they deserve, but that we're not re-traumatizing families. We have created the golden standard for neonatal bereavement care when it comes to losing a child in the nation. So we're hearing from lawmakers all across the nation that want us to know what we did and how we did it.
The state health department tracks infant deaths, which were trending down in the last 4 years. But according to early data and analysis by KXAN, there's been a 7.7% increase since 2021. The data shows the leading causes are birth defects, preterm births, and sudden infant death syndrome, or SIDS.
I'm just hoping that we can build on this type of treatment in future legislative sessions. I'm hoping that we can actually, deal with our infant mortality crisis that we're seeing in our state.
The law went into effect in September, and already 2 of the companies which offer the cooling technology, Caring Cradle and Cuddle Cot, are placing more devices at hospitals across Texas.
This would be our full-size Caring Cradle. We wanted to make something that was very simple, plug it in, turn it on, and within a half an hour it's ready to go. This is allowing family to see their baby in the same condition for longer.
Cuddle cots are simply a cooling device. It's just a small machine with a cooling pad that has water that runs through it that can cool an infant when an infant passes. If you don't have a cooling device, then you're either going to lean on ice packs or you're going to have to take the child to the morgue. And to take a baby back and forth from parents, the baby's changing very fast.
These are like the only photos I have really of him.
Elaine says she wishes she had more time to say goodbye to Lando. After her loss, she created the Ever Mother Foundation, a grassroots organization for grieving moms. She's now making sure all hospitals are aware of the new law.
It would have given me a little bit more preservation of him, to take more photos with him and remember him in the way that he came out. And it would have allowed me time to process, potentially even letting my daughter meet him.
Arzo Dost, KXAN investigates.
And the cost of the cooling devices, they range from about $3,000 to $7,000. The law sets aside $5 million to help hospitals purchase the devices and provide training for staff, prioritizing hospitals that don't have the cooling technology, especially in rural areas and hospitals that treat a greater number of higher risk patients and deliver more babies. Well, coming up, a Thanksgiving tradition continues. We show you the sights and sounds of this year's 89th annual Sun Bowl Parade. Stay with KTSM 9 News. We'll be right back.
KTSM 9 News starts right now.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight on KTSM 9 at 10. I'm Christina Rada, and he has the night off. Well, in case you missed the fun, thousands of El Pasoans converged in central El Paso this morning for the longest running Thanksgiving tradition, the annual Sun Bowl Parade, this year marking the 89th edition. KTSM 9 News reporter Jesus Baltazar was at the parade this morning, capturing those sights and sounds as El Pasoans began their day of festivities.
The 89th Sun Bowl Thanksgiving Parade drawing hundreds of El Paso families Thursday morning.
We run this tradition every year with family, friends, and co-workers, and just, it's a great time to come out here. We bring a DJ out for the community.
It started with my dad. My dad would come often, or mostly each year to the parade. He passed away in 2019, so we're trying to keep the tradition going. We try to go all out for Thanksgiving.
Some people arriving on Montana in the early hours of Thursday morning, some even camping out a few days before, but they all had something different on the menu.
So we're cooking some chocolate abuelita, huevo with chorizo, and we're making burritos with homemade tortillas. We're already thinking that next year we're gonna bring more stuff to make I guess more food.
Today we're going to be making chile, tomate, and cebolla with bacon on pan blanco. It's like sandwiches. The tradition is more breakfast, just hanging out, you know, with the kids.
This year's theme, childhood is where dreams are born.
And it just takes people back to when they were young kids and seeing what they wanted to be when they grew up. And this is what this theme is all about. And some of these floats are going to show that.
Some people are sharing that after the parade will come the Thanksgiving feast and football.
And I'm on board 100%. They're going to the Super Bowl, baby.
And at the end of the day, El Pasoans reflecting on what Thanksgiving is all about.
Be with loved ones and just to really enjoy, you know, be thankful for the loved ones that you have. Never take that for granted, right?
Jesus Baltazar, KTSM 9 News.
Well, we hope you are enjoying your Thanksgiving. It was a cool one, and forecaster Tirza Ortiz joining us right now. Tirza, people out at the parade, they were not even had jackets on. It looked like it was pretty cool, but sunny.
It was very sunny, very dry, warmer towards the afternoon, but in the morning, those jackets were needed. We were quite cool, and that's really the trend we've been noticing is the cooler mornings, and then we gradually begin to warm up to those above average highs. And we did hit a high of 69 degrees for today, which is well above average, but we do have a little bit more to talk about. So we are looking at a gradual warm up going into our weekend, and then a cold front is going to come into our system. It'll finally drop us down back to those average temperatures that we should be for this time of year. But then we also get the chance of potentially precipitation that might be in our forecast as well. And coming up in a little bit, I will have more details on what to expect as we continue to move through the rest of our 9 days. But for right now, those temperatures are beginning to cool down. We're currently at 55 degrees in El Paso, 51 over in Juarez. We're looking at 49 degrees over in Las Cruces, TRC in those mid 40s, Deming 48 with Silver City at 42 degrees. And we're only going to get cooler. Our lows for tonight will be very similar to what we had last night going into a very early morning hour. And like I told you, we do have that gradual warm up. A couple of 70s are on the board before we drop back down into those low 60s. I will have a full breakdown in just a little bit with our full 9-day forecast. But for now, Christina, I'll send things back over to you.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Tirza. Well, a shocking act of violence just blocks from the White House as one of 2 National Guard members remains in critical condition after what officials call an ambush-style attack. President Donald Trump says West Virginia National Guard member Sarah Beckstrom has died from her wounds. Washington correspondent Basil John reports on the latest details from our nation's capital.
On Thanksgiving morning, federal investigators identified the 2 National Guard members shot in broad daylight Wednesday. 20-year-old specialist Sarah Beckstrom and 24-year-old Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf of the West Virginia National Guard were on duty in D.C. when the suspect came around a corner and opened fire.
I ask every American today to keep them in their thoughts and prayers as you go about your day.
Prosecutors say the gunman is 29-year-old Rahmanullah Lakanawal, an Afghan national.
He drove his vehicle across country from the state of Washington with the intended target of coming to our nation's capital.
U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro says the suspect came to the U.S. as part of the Operation Allies Welcome in 2021. He worked with U.S. intelligence partner forces in Afghanistan. Investigators say they're still searching for a motive.
This is a coast-to-coast investigation being led right here in Washington, D.C. And this subject definitely did pick the wrong country.
FBI Director Kash Patel says agents are carrying out searches in Washington state and San Diego. After the shooting, D.C. officials say other Guard members sprinted toward the gunfire and subdued the shooter within minutes.
No additional victims were harmed, and the scene was secured.
The attack is now being investigated as an act of terrorism.
Somebody drove across the country, came to Washington, D.C. to attack America. And that person will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
President Trump ordered 500 more National Guard members to Washington as the FBI moves forward with what it calls a complex national investigation. Reporting in Washington, I'm Basil John.
Well, the suspect faces multiple felony charges with prosecutors warning they could be upgraded. And KTSM is learning more about Wednesday's fiery crash involving a motorcycle. El Paso police have identified the motorcyclist killed in the crash with a car. Investigators say 26-year-old John Paul Forero Moya was speeding on his motorcycle, traveling north on Magnetic, while 37-year-old Juan Jose Flores Orozco was traveling south. Orozco reportedly turned left on Hercules. That's when Moya slammed into the car driven by Orozco. Moya died on the scene. This is the 58th traffic fatality compared to 63 last year. The Special Traffic Investigations Unit has taken over this investigation. And 2 people are dead after a plane crash in New Mexico. State police say the plane took off from Alamogordo White Sands Regional Airport yesterday, but it did not reach its destination. The wreckage was found in the Sacramento Mountains southwest of Cloudcroft. The cause of the crash is still under investigation. The crash victims have not yet been named. A train crash involving a person on the track has left 1 person dead in Las Cruces. The crash happened yesterday around 2 p.m. along the 1700 block of South Main Street. Police report the train traveling north on the track when it hit the man. When first responders arrived at the scene, they found a man who was unresponsive. He died at the scene. His name has not yet been released. An open house happening next week is giving you a look into how your money is being spent when it comes to water services in El Paso. Officials will be going over the proposed budget for the next year and the rate increase. As KTSM previously reported, if the budget is approved, water and wastewater bills would increase by almost $10 per month. That's a 12% increase over last year's bill. If you're interested in attending the open house, it will be next Tuesday, December 2nd at the Tech H2O Center on Montana Avenue. Now, we have also put a link to the budget and more information on the rate hike on KTSM.com. Well, coming up, we take a look at some of the Thanksgiving traditions happening across our area, the kindness so many are showing when we return. Thanks for watching KTSM 9 News, putting local first.
From kids dreaming big to families lighting the streets, this is where childhood dreams are born. Thank you, El Paso, for being part of the 89th annual Glasheen, Valles, and Enderman Injury Lawyers Sun Bowl Parade. KTSM 9, your only live parade home.
Well, good evening, Borderland. We are closing out our Thanksgiving. It was a great day, a little bit above average, but hopefully you really enjoyed your afternoon, your evening, even the morning if you're out there for the turkey trot or the parade. All the power to you, because we were very cold. We had a low of 43 degrees. 69 degrees was our recorded high, so we are well above average in that region. But for right now, we are cooling down. We're still sitting at 55 degrees. We're looking at fairly overcast skies, very light winds moving from the north at 6 miles per hour with 38% humidity. So those little gusts can feel a little bit cooler because of that wind chill. 49 degrees over in Las Cruces, and it doesn't look like we are tracking any winds at the moment, but they will be calm for tonight, also moving between 0 to 5 miles per hour. Now, as for the rest of the lows, we are looking at 37 degrees over in Ruidoso, 35 degrees over in Cloudcroft, 39 degrees over in Alamogordo, 40 for Las Cruces, 39 degrees TRC, 35 over in Deming, with Silver City matching that number. El Paso will be around 45, so almost similar to what we had for last night's low. Now for tomorrow, we are looking at warmer temperatures. 70 degrees is our current forecasted high. Some high clouds throughout the afternoon. Overall, looking at very light winds moving from the southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Now, as for Las Cruces, a little bit cooler at 68 degrees. We're also looking at a little bit of cloud coverage throughout the afternoon. Overall, though, a very quiet and calm day, a perfect way to kick off your weekend or go Black Friday shopping. It should be some pretty good conditions if you're heading out to do that. 59 degrees will be the high for Ruidoso, 53 over in Cloudcroft when we drop down to Guadalupe Pass, 65, and then 71 degrees over in Van Horn. Juarez will also be at 70. El Paso is matching that number, 68 over in TRC, 69 in Deming, and then moving over to Silver City, we'll drop down to those low 60s. Taking a look at our allergens, we are tracking on the lower end for our Friday. We're looking at a 5, but then we have double 7s for the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, moving closer to the mild range. When you're planning out your morning for tomorrow, just know we will be quite cool. 49 degrees with mostly clear skies for our 8 a.m. hour, and then we'll gradually begin to warm up as we move closer to noon. Now, the closer we go to, we are looking at that cloud cover beginning to develop, but as we get into the earlier evening hours, we begin to notice that those clouds start to clear out. We will hit our high of 70 degrees around 4 p.m., and it's looking like the skies will be mostly clear. Checking out the rest of our 9-day forecast, again, we do have some 70s for our Friday and for our Saturday. Now, come Sunday, we do have a cold front coming in. It is going to bring cooler temperatures, but also the very slight chance to be looking at some precipitation. 62 degrees for our Monday. We go down to 60 degrees for our Tuesday. We're looking at sunny skies, and then as we begin getting closer to next weekend, we start to gradually warm right back up again to above average temperatures. Christina, back to you.
All right, Tirza, thank you so much. Well, Jalisco Café in the Segundo Barrio continues their Thanksgiving tradition today. The owners say this is the 22nd year since they began serving the community for the holiday. Hector Chavez, who owns the restaurant, tells us this year is very special because people are struggling with the high cost of just about everything. He's glad this tradition continues to help so many, and he looks forward to the next year.
It's hard work, but when you see the people come in and enjoy their food and people got ready, you can see their faces. They're really gratified when you serve them and they eat, because they don't have the means, or they have nowhere to go. So this place is always available during Thanksgiving.
This year the meal was made up of turkey, corn with mixed veggies, and mashed potatoes. All right, well, we have much more coming up in sports with Kelly. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Legal Matters, sponsored by Mendez Isaac Jody, attorneys at law.
My name is Oscar Mendez, and I'm a partner at Mendez Isaac Jody Law Firm. An accident with an 18-wheeler can be one of the most terrifying and devastating events a person can endure, instantly changing your health, livelihood, and future. Our law firm specializes in representing victims of trucking accidents. We are prepared to hold trucking companies accountable for the harm they've caused. These causes of the accidents are often rooted in negligence, such as driver fatigue, speeding, distracted driving, and poor maintenance, issues that lead to life-altering injuries or death. You need a legal team with the expertise and resources to fight major corporations. At Mendez Isaac Jody, we have a proven record of helping clients across the borderland get the justice and compensation they deserve.
Visit MIJLawFirm.com for a free consultation. Let's discuss how MIJ can help you rebuild your life. We are dedicated to fighting for the people of El Paso every day.
Legal Matters, sponsored by Mendez Isaac Jody, attorneys at law. Log on to ktsm.com/legal matters for more info.
And now, KTSM 9 Sports with Kelly Horson, sponsored by Glasheen Vyas and Enderman Injury Lawyers.
Well, it was a showdown today. Kansas City and Dallas in a shootout at AT&T Stadium. Both of these teams needing a win to keep its playoff hopes alive, especially for the Cowboys, aiming for that above 500 record for the first time this season, needing this win against the Chiefs. A win would also string together 3 straight victories for the Cowboys. Kansas City is going to strike first. Short pass to Rashee Rice, tiptoes up the sideline. Chiefs are going to go up 7-0, but Dallas with the answer later in the first quarter to tie it. Dak Prescott to CD Lamb, 7-7 score with 6:50 to go in quarter number 1. First quarter now nearing an end. 3 seconds on the clock. Kansas City back on top. Travis Kelce is going to flash his hands, and it's enough to reel this one in. Chiefs go up 14-7. Second quarter, Dallas is going to close in 14-10, 3:15 before break. Malik Davis is going to receive the handoff, and he's going to find a hole, and he is gone. Cowboys back in front, 17-14. A quiet third quarter, picking things up here in the fourth. Kansas City on the 3. Mahomes in trouble. Rice again for his second receiving touchdown of the day. Chiefs in front by 1, 21 to 20. Now it's Dallas's turn from the 3. Prescott is going to flip it out to Javonte Adams on the very last second. The grab is good, and that's going to put Dallas up 26 to 21. 2-point conversion. George Pickens with an unreal grab here is going to make this a 28 to 21 ball game. 3:30 to go in this game. Boys are going to extend its lead 31 to 21. Mahomes' shot to the back of the end zone is caught by Hollywood Brown. And this game came down to the very last second. The Cowboys are going to be able to hang on to defeat the Chiefs 31 to 28. Now, New Mexico State women's still in search of its first win against a Division I opponent this year. The Aggies had an uphill battle against the perfect 5-0 College of Charleston Cougars this afternoon, today marking the opening day at the Big Easy Classic. First points of the day is going to come from Imani Warren as she's going to drive to the net, and this one is going to fall for 2 points, but this will actually be the Aggies' largest lead of the day. Fast forward later in the first quarter, Cougars up 20-9, make that 22-9 following the offensive board for Charleston to cap a 6-0 run over the Aggies, and this is going to mark the end of the first quarter. Second quarter, Taryn Barbot with 18 points for Charleston today leads the group. 2 coming off of this drive here. Charleston extending its lead by 26 points. And MSU is actually going to pick up its play, though, in the back half of this game, while the Aggies are going to be outscored 14-12 in the third. It's their closest quarter yet. The basket here coming from Los Rosing on the floater, but the first half deficit is just too much for New Mexico State, falling to the College of Charleston 72-42. And moving to its men's programs, the Aggies closing out the Cancun Challenge tournament yesterday with honors released earlier today. Julius Mims landing himself a spot on the all-tournament team, averaging 8 rebounds and 1 block down in Mexico. Jamel Jones earned MVP on the weekend, averaging 12 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 3 steals across its 2 games this week. Up next, NMSU is going to take to the road to face South Alabama on December 2nd, looking to improve its record to 7-0 overall. That's your look at sports here at 10 p.m. We'll be right back after the break.
Expert tips from your student doc, sponsored by Burrell College of Osteopathic Medicine. Tips for healthy aging skin.
Hey everybody, I'm Sidney Alvarez here with 4 tips for healthy aging skin with student Dr. Alisandra Merena from Burrell College of Osteopathic Medicine.
Thanks, Sid. Tip number 1, stay hydrated inside and out. Drinking enough water keeps your skin cells plump and healthy, while using a daily moisturizer helps lock that hydration in. Aim for at least 8 cups of water a day. Tip number 2, eat antioxidant-rich foods. Load up on foods high in antioxidants like berries, leafy greens, tomatoes, and nuts. These help protect your skin from everyday damage, which can contribute to wrinkles and dullness. Tip number 3, get consistent quality sleep. Aim for at least 7 to 9 hours of restful sleep each night. During deep sleep, your skin repairs itself and restores its natural glow. And last but not least, Sydney, tip number 4, protect your skin from UV damage. Use a broad spectrum sunscreen with SPF 30 or higher every day, even when it's cloudy. Sun damage is one of the biggest contributors to premature aging, so daily sun protection is one of the simplest and most effective ways to keep your skin looking young and healthy for years to come.
Thank you so much. For more information, go to burrell.edu.
Expert tips from your student doc, sponsored by Burrell College of Osteopathic Medicine.
Hair and wardrobe provided by.
Well, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade returned this year and brought balloons of Buzz Lightyear and Pac-Man to the New York City skies. Floats also featured Labubu for Tirza, K-Lego, and many more impressive floats and bands. Now, along the streets were tens of thousands of spectators from around the country, all bundled up as they braved 40-degree temperatures. And the first Macy's Day Parade was actually held in 1924. Next year will be the 100th year of the parade. And Tirza, I believe that of the three of us, you watched the most of the Macy's Parade.
I did. We were talking about it. I caught glimpses through online, and we were talking about the talent that was out there. Very, very New York, I feel, just really embodied. A lot going on.
It's very interesting each and every year, just seeing how they kind of bring it all together. The floats, also the weather always plays a factor. I'm from New York, so I've seen how it's going to affect it. They sometimes can't do balloons. They're too big. People are going to fly away. The balloons are going to fly away. So it's a danger. It's a danger. So anyways, I digress. So it's always interesting to see how they think on their feet, and it always turns out great. So.
Yeah, it did look great. And you know what also looked great is our weather watcher photo for today. This is from Maria Alvarez, traveling in Kansas. Beautiful skies. Thank you for sending us this gorgeous photo. You can send us your photos too to be a weather watcher to news@ktsm.com. Let's go ahead and get a final look at our 9-day forecast. We're looking at warm temperatures, 70 degrees for your Black Friday and your Saturday. We have a cold front coming in for Sunday. It's dropping us down to those low 60s. We're very close to average temperatures. We'll actually hit average on Monday, go a little bit below that for Tuesday before we begin to rebound right back up. We are going to hit 66 degrees for next Friday and then jump very above average for next Saturday, but they're looking really good. The conditions are looking good. Very light winds, nothing that's going to pick people up.
Like in New York.
In New York, we don't have that type of
as long as you're not attached to a string that is attached to a giant balloon, I don't believe you're going to blow away. So just put yourself not in those positions.
Good news. And congratulations to Cowboy fans. They had quite a night.
Yeah, good night for them.
All right, well, have a good one. Bye-bye.